San Antonio, Texas.
See, that's what I'm talking about, though. When you vandalize, you give them ammunition. This is a friend of mine who's a retired cop who's he's a neighbor, ex-neighbor, and I love the guy, but we were standing outside one day, and he goes, "You have to admit Obama's the worst president in the world." And I said, "Dude, you don't want to go there with me." And they're using it as fodder. Says this, boy, everybody's going after Adler on this thing too. Was he disappeared or something and not seen? I saw him give a press conference today.
Adler has become a touchstone now for a lot of people who are really in. I know there's certain names that we don't utter that often on the show anymore, but he's become a punching bag for certain people who
accidentally saw the homeless who've always been here. Yeah. That's where it started.
And that's what, when I was trying to say before we went to the break, how complicated the issue is. I mean, I saw what I would consider to be left-leaning Austinites being yelled at by the homeless saying, hey, this is our home. Stop trying to burn stuff down here or whatever. You're literally in my home. And it's like, this is someone who I'm sure would have sided with the homeless an hour before and now is being reprimanded by the homeless, and someone who an hour before probably was saying, I think the governor is opening the city too soon. We should all be inside. It's
too many moving parts.
It's too many moving parts, and it's a complicated issue. What's happening is our brains can't take on this much, so we just say, oh, it's rioters and looters. And when you do that, we'll never get any further down the road on any of this. Because
did it strike you at all that it was not convenient, but how the fact that everybody is wearing a mask now worked in perfectly for this?
I guess.
I mean, you know what I mean? The timing of the...
Yeah.
I'm going to just write on my friend's page here, which is a lot of cops and a lot of other people. I'm just going to write, stop shooting innocent people. Think that'll go over well? They're complaining about the graffiti, which I agree with is wrong, but I don't know how you give it. Evidently, the mayor said...
Hey, look.
The mayor said... at least no one was hurt or killed or something like that. So, anyway, Facebook.
Right, but part of where some of these people are coming from, I say some of these people, I don't know for a fact, but what I'm gleaming from reading people's tweets or whatever is that they feel that the country we live in now cares more about property than people. And then when you write something saying, I can't believe this, look at this graffiti, is this right? Well, that kind of proves their point that, hey, I don't see anywhere on your Facebook stream that you are upset about this 8-minute video of a cop having his knee on somebody's neck until he slowly dies underneath him. But I do see you clutching your pearls over a bunch of bad graffiti.
I don't like Andy Milakanis or whatever his name was, the guy who looks like a little boy who's trapped in a little boy's body.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
But he had the best tweet of the weekend, which was, congratulations to the astronauts that left Earth today. Good choice.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good line.
It was a odd weekend when we're launching people into space.
Named Bob and Doug.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing on
Facebook.
Facebook.
Then Friday they released all those transcripts, those Mike Flynn transcripts. Did you even see any of them?
No.
No one did, because they released them. They waited till the riot started, and then they just kind of secretly put them out there, and it's like, all right, there you go.
But hold on, something else happened on Facebook. I usually only approve of attractive women or men with attractive women.
Oh my God, who is that?
Yeah, and it's like women aren't even hiding it anymore, what they're doing to us.
That's called a thirst trap.
There's an attractive woman on my Facebook page in a gold bikini, and she's bending over so that they hang in front. And that is her story today. And I have to look
That's
closer.
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
She's at the lake.
She's a MILF, and she's goodness gracious almighty. Like, when you do that, you know what you're doing, right?
I think people sometimes like positive attention. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh my God.
There's more.
We just
her and her friends in bikinis.
I have a feeling that this person has to be in.
What?
This has to be real estate agents, right?
Yeah.
This has to be real estate agents.
All right, let's
There's
move
no
on.
social distancing.
There's no other group of in this city.
Right.
I don't know.
They're at the lake.
How is E Entertainment Television? Someone get Andy Cohen
I know somebody knows them,
Someone needs to get Andy Cohen on the phone and say, look, I know you love doing Real Housewives,
but
I got a better deal for you. It's called the Real Realtors.
yeah.
Of
Well,
Austin,
he's got real estate shows.
and you just do real estate on Lake Austin.
Yep.
And it's just ladies in sarongs
Parties.
drinking
Nobody's
white
selling
wine with
S.
ice in it.
This
How is
the,
anything getting sold in this city?
Nobody's
This
selling
is
or
the
buying,
part-
but there's partying going on.
This is the part of the show that's videotaped, right? Yeah, this will be up later on.
All right, we're gonna get back to.
What was vandalized in Austin?
I almost said we're gonna get back to COVID, but that's over now, right?
Yeah, no,
is
this
COVID
is great.
over?
Didn't
I don't
hear
have
it.
COVID crazy. I have protest crazy.
How crazy is it that how long ago after you spent this weekend looking at all this stuff? How long ago does COVID seem to you?
A month.
No, it'll be back, especially with
No,
crowds like this.
It's already back.
Yeah,
What
and-
I'm saying is, it doesn't even in my brain. It seems like, oh, that's a story from months ago. A crazy weekend.
The law offices of Michael Candelas.
What did he
The
do?
Driscoll Hotel state historical marker was spray painted.
It's odd what they pick and choose to vandalize.
It's odd.
I don't know who they are.
It's
but
odd that you think anyone's going to support you when you tear up other people's businesses.
But that's where I'm saying, don't confuse
I know.
a
I'm not.
16-year-old who's
Right.
just out having fun all night
That's
and
where I was
wilding.
joking. That's where I was joking.
It's
But
wilding,
what
yeah.
they're doing is trying to group everybody together as Antifa. And my friend Dennis there putting up the vandalism as though that's what the whole thing was all about.
And this right here, like private stock, is directly across the street from
Lone Star Souvenir.
the Velveeta room. Private stock is owned by a black man.
We don't need to list all of them.
And that's one of the places that gets ripped open. Now, I also saw the live video. It happened at like midnight. I don't think that group had anything to do with anything other than they had been out all day. You're bored. Then the police are breaking up the protest. You're wandering around. You see
got a mask.
You see two people pulling on a gate.
Now,
Then
see-
then when they open up the gate, you're like, well, I'll run in
Oh.
there and grab a T-shirt or whatever. And there's no thought put into it. No thought whatsoever.
Why didn't that open? What is going on now with my? I got a new mouse here. This is John Cusack getting the hell beat out of him.
Someone
Where?
beat up John Cusack?
Yep, he was videotaping a car on fire in Chicago. I don't think there's curse words in here, but there's a very angry cop, but there could be. This is just 8 seconds
He's
long.
John Cusack. He's a national treasure.
I'll give him credit. He didn't drop his name. He didn't have time. Listen.
All right. Get out of here. Get your boy down here now. All right,
Oh, he
I
did.
got it. I got it.
Yeah, the cop did say
I
get
know.
to it.
I know how to get an
I'm
F-bomb
not.
out.
I'm letting the listeners know what just got edited.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
I'm trying to think of what John Cusack could have said outside of his
He
name
didn't.
that
He
might
was
have given him.
videotaping a car that was burning allegedly.
I gave you my love. You gave me a baton.
He was videotaping a car that was burning, and they just came along sweeping the street. So
Let's go.
there you go. John Cusack taking a beating somewhere. Carissa's crying.
Yeah, when we say sweeping the street,
We don't know.
it was stunning to see. I'm trying to be careful with words.
This one made me really sad. This is hard to watch. Not a lot of sound on it. Well, yeah, I think from the people taping. They are clearing the street in Salt Lake City, and I tweeted about this one. And you see him coming along here, right? There's an old man over here with a cane that looks like he may just be waiting for a bus because it is a bus stop or some
Is that
sort
Alex
of
Jones?
transportation.
truck?
No, this is
No,
in
it's
Salt
actual,
Lake City.
Oh,
it's
sorry.
actual
That's
real
actual
military.
military.
Oh, that's a
vehicles.
real SWAT vehicle.
And watch what they do to this old man at the end
Just
here.
arriving here on the scene, also with a unit from
All right.
West Valley
Now
City.
watch. They
Now
come
this
back
is
to
just
that,
in the
that
area
guy
where
with
this
in the black
vehicle
shirt. Watch.
has
Old man
been
with a cane.
burning.
Watch.
You guys see it right here.
Hitting him with shields.
Police officers
He can barely
starting to
walk,
move some of the
and they throw him
crowd.
right down to the ground.
Sadly, a man was just knocked off his feet.
This is where I was talking about earlier about the idea that we've lost the idea of
And we're-
policing at this
and
point.
hold on, we're not talking about a big crowd here, and they just accidentally hit this old man. We're talking about two people,
You're shoving him in the
and
back.
the old man was standing at the bus stop holding a cane, and they pushed him with the shield, and he couldn't get his balance, and they just continue to.
Now, are they helping him here? Or are they going to?
I don't know. Let's see if they.
Right now,
let's watch.
Salt Lake City PD Rescue is just arriving here
The
on
old
the
man
scene.
didn't know what to
Also
do.
with a
One
unit
guy.
from West Valley City. Now this
They
is
hit
just
another
in
old
the
man,
area
but
where
not
this vehicle
this guy comes back and hits
has
this
been
guy
burning.
with a
You
cane.
guys see it
He's got his
right
cane.
here.
They won't even let it get his
Police
cane down.
officers starting to move some of the crowd. Sadly, a man was just knocked off his
Two other
feet.
cops do come and help him up.
officer now
To arrest him,
helping him
or-
up.
No,
Helping him up.
a
This is in
smart
the
cop
same
saw
area.
the dumb cane that he had around his arm and went and helped him.
Where right.
It's ridiculous.
Have you seen any of these supercuts people have put together of
Let me take some calls.
law enforcement just losing their mind on people? Like that won't
Manny, what's up,
shoving,
man?
shoving girls and stuff.
How's
Yeah.
it going?
What's
up,
happening?
Manny?
Well, this protest, that ain't no protest, that's rioting.
Some
Nope,
of it is.
Nope, it's not. Not all of it is rioting.
Well,
You can't
a
lump.
lot of it
You
was
cannot lump.
rioting.
You cannot lump. Nope. The majority of people out there were protesting what's going on in this country. As it got later in the night, there were people who vandalized and looted. It's happened for history. It's white people have looted. It happened with Rodney King. It happened anytime somebody who has
Anytime there's some cover.
Anytime a criminal mind sees some cover, perfect word, Bob,
Right.
they will do it. It has nothing to do with the people who are protesting lawfully.
Well, I guess you're right. The one thing I like is in San Antonio, they put that curfew.
I saw another thing in San Antonio. I think it was they just showed the people, the cities. There were just photographs, and I guess it was San Antonio from the
Miles long.
from the lack of skyline, because San Antonio has that height thing.
Yep.
And in the cities where the cops kneeled, even in Charlottesville, where the cops kneeled in support, they didn't have any of this stuff going on.
No.
It was where the guys came out armed to the teeth, and somebody I saw on Facebook said, "We've militarized it. I don't understand why." And it's two things. First of all, the reason the cops got militarized, there was a horrible, horrible bank robbery in Los Angeles, either in the late 80s or early 90s.
Isn't that what Heat was based on, that movie?
And the guy, no, this is
No?
you ought to watch the video. These guys were Two guys were so armed with body armor covering their entire body, even their heads, that the cops' pistols wouldn't work on them, and they had automatic weapons. And you see them go on for 35 minutes or something like that until finally one cop sneaks up and pops them both in the neck.
Yes.
And that's when they started giving them the arms. But then the government started giving them surplus, military surplus. And look, I'm not saying they don't ever need it, but this thing where they just start to, I was watching people who were on their knees. I think it was Minneapolis. They were on their knees. It was still daytime. It was the beginning of the evening. And all of a sudden the tear gas canisters just start popping on people who are sitting there with their arms up trying to do something peaceful. Listen, it's bad on both sides, and the elements, you get bad elements in the people trying to end it. You get bad elements in the people trying to peacefully protest, and it's a mess. Manny, I love you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks,
hey,
buddy.
back in the 70s, you still there?
Yeah.
In the 70s, they had a blackout in San Antonio. And there was this grocery store right across the street. I worked at a restaurant. Anyway, I saw the guy, both doors were wide open. Wide open. And I was like, what the heck? So I walked over there, and I stood at the front door, but I didn't walk in. Well, the owner was sitting in there with a 12-gauge shotgun. He said, "What are you doing, Manuel?" I said, "Well, your doors are wide open." I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm waiting for them looters."
All right,
Yeah.
man.
He was an old redneck. He
my-
said, "Bring it."
My worry is there's going to be more people killed. The way it's being inflamed by saying it's MAGA night at the White House, that's not what you should be saying. That's like inviting people down who are opposing on the other side.
There are. Hey, look,
thanks.
there's ways that anytime there's unrest and violence, there are winners.
Oh, never mind. The troops just showed up at the White House.
There are winners, and there are people who make money off of it. To be honest with you, we always say follow the money on the show. And that's just generally where the answer is going to be. But I saw videos of friends of mine who were marching in these big marches, like in Brooklyn, and it's just strings of people marching, and it's kind of boring, except at the end, or what I call the end. But the end, and this happened repeatedly, is that I feel like it's not too much to ask that our law enforcement, even if it's inconvenient to be up all night watching people who are really kind of just doing this for show or whatever you decide, however you decided to dismiss them. But there wasn't a point where they said, okay, it's over, or that they waited for people to go home or whatever. All of a sudden, they just made a call that they decided the protest is over.
Right. Curfew.
Well, no one didn't even announce a curfew. They just suddenly started attacking the crowd. I mean, I don't know a better word than attacking. I mean, I'm sure some people will be like, that's BS. You understand nothing about law enforcement. And I don't. I've never been in law enforcement. But
Bob has.
There's a part of me that's just like, I don't understand who in
That's
your
arbitrary,
ranks,
right?
who in your rank said, okay, the best thing to do right now is we have a crowd of thousands of people. The best thing to do is I want you to fire into them a bit. I want you to hit them with a couple of batons. I want you to throw your shields in them. That'll calm the situation. And it didn't even seem, the situation didn't seem aggravated. That's why it was so stunning. It was like, I don't even get where the idea comes from, other than I think it was just sort of like, we're tired. This is BS. Let's put an end to it. And I think it goes back to what the president said in that meeting with the governors today, where he said, it's time for you to, what was his actual words? You need to dominate.
Right.
You need to dominate.
That's what he's all about. Domination.
And I know that there are people that feel that way. That you can get on Twitter, look at half of these tweets, and you'll see all these responses from dudes in their basements saying, it's time to crack skulls. And I was like, what? You want to crack your skull, your neighbor's skulls? What this is over is, hey, there seems to be we kind of have a thing going here. We keep seeing that until we had video cameras running constantly, people kept telling us, hey, sometimes the cops don't seem to be legit. And we've had cops who become ex-cops saying, yeah, I was part of some organized crime inside of the police department in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. We know that it exists. So
there's a video of a guy walking around just busting windows, and there is a cop's ex-wife that says it's him in one of the towns.
I heard that.
Yeah, we don't know.
I'm not seeing it now, but I'm not seeing it now. But after the MAGA party invite, my sister wrote me and said the troops have just shown up at the White House to surround the White House after because there was an invitation for big night. Let's talk about the people who are fellow media people, and I don't care if any, let's do me a favor. Well, I'll get in trouble for this, but I don't care anymore. I care. Let me couch this because
do you feel like today's a big couching day?
Yeah, I do.
I feel like we have to be careful.
I was
in
able to
everything
say
we
whatever I wanted, my opinion, for so many years, and boy, oh boy, I'm going to do a podcast someday and tell you all about this, or maybe I'll write a book about the behind the scenes of this business for 40 years. If you are a person that thinks, I'll say this, if you're a person that thinks that the press is the enemy of the people, I don't want to have anything to do with you at all, whether you're a listener or what.
Agreed.
The press,
unless you're talking about the Inquirer.
And if you're one of the whiny, crybaby, small penis gun lovers, this is coming from a guy who has owned guns and owns guns, but you're the one that feels the need to take them out there and all this, and you went on and on about the guns being Second Amendment, but you're okay with the First Amendment being taken away. You're a fraud and a coward, because you lose your First Amendment rights. And boy, oh boy, get rid of a free press and see where it goes for you and your children for the rest of your life, especially like local reporters. So the idea that a local reporter got shot with a rubber bullet, and if you see the one of the people just sitting on their porch getting shot, being told to go inside, which you shouldn't have to go inside in your own house. I would do it because I always do it because my dad said they're the cops and you're not. But the idea that somebody would fire off a round of tear gas or rubber bullet or whatever it was at somebody just videotaping on their house. And you know what you're seeing? Because this is the frustration with most cops I know who are great people like Art. They get so frustrated with the bully guy who was mistreated in middle school, gained a little weight in high school, and then decided to become a police officer. They hate them amongst their midst. And what you're seeing, I've already gone after the people who have vandalized. You're losing the cause. You're a criminal. You're not getting anything done. And I've said that for years. The people who against the gentrification on the east side, be against the gentrification and be active. But the minute you vandalize, you're just an idiot. But now you're also seeing cops. The bad cops amongst these people are the ones who lose their temper and fire at the media or arrest the media who are
Or
just
maybe
there
they're
to tell the
scared.
story. I'll give them that too. I'll give them.
I mean, I looked at some of these cops and they didn't look like cops. You have this picture in your mind of what a cop is physically.
Well, what are we
And
talking about? Kyle? I know Dale always likes to say that
Right.
Kyle PD is a little overweight
But-
because he
No,
saw
I didn't.
one
But
officer.
a lot of these
He saw one
a lot of these
officer.
cops look like, well, they're just very young. They look like they're brought in. Are they reserves? Or
No,
they,
you can be a cop when you're
No, I
18
know.
or 21 years old.
We talked
Here's a
about it for
reporter.
years here that it has to do with training, and then the training has become about we must protect ourselves first.
Here's a
And
cop.
some of the problems from that.
It used to be to protect and serve.
This is just a picture.
Yeah, and you get some problems down the road when you do that.
This is just a picture. This is KPCC.
Oh, that looks like that was painful.
KPCC Los Angeles reporter tear gas and then shot in the throat with a rubber bullet.
Oh.
A rubber bullet can kill you. If it hits you in the right spot in your head or your
Surely
eye,
take out an eye.
it can kill you. And that
That
one,
looks painful, man.
Well, you're
right
about
on
to-
the Adam's apple.
Yeah, right on the Adam's apple. So there you go.
Oof.
There's that. And then I haven't even watched this yet. This one's going to piss me off.
I want to see
but
Cheesecake Lady.
That's a reporter shot with a rubber bullet. Okay, and now here's a woman that was reporting live, and she gets hit with a rubber bullet. She has no idea what she's been hit with. And this happened in Louisville, Kentucky. Young lady making $20,000 a year, probably. Maybe.
Gotta go, and that's fine with us.
Okay.
We got plenty of time here.
Are you okay?
I'm getting shot. I'm getting.
Katie, are you okay?
Look at him. You can see him. Look.
It's okay. It's those pepper bullets.
Here's
Those
the
pepper
Are they?
bullets. They
Who
just
are
shot me
they
in the
aiming
face.
Bob,
that
are you
at?
just seeing this?
Yeah, I haven't seen
Look,
this.
he's
Nice
Nice
shooting at the
It is,
photographer.
like
He keeps
directly
shooting
at
at her.
us. Directly
Why
at
are they
us.
doing that?
He's shooting.
You can see him
He
raising
singled
his
her out
gun.
and just he's pumping it.
In a couple of these places, the heads of the unions, of the police unions, have spoken at Trump rallies, and I think there is some issue.
Targeting.
There's a New York cop that's was caught calling a woman an effing bitch, and then he flashed the white power symbol in NYPD.
Right. Well, and this is where you start losing all the hearts and minds, as Acevedo was talking about earlier. If I see that guy firing that off, I can go with the argument that Bob was starting, and I appreciate what he was saying, is that you could be young, you could be scared. This is the first time you're in a situation
battle.
like this, and you don't know what's going on.
There
And
was no one near him,
the fact that you don't see any other officers
Right.
coming over there to him.
and he just keeps firing at her.
I read a very important study that had been done. I mean, the study was actually done a while back, but it's now making the rounds again, where they had interviewed thousands of police officers, and they found that on note that about 15% of police officers were kind of these,
Oh, we got a break again?
kind of these
I wanna come back to this.
dogmatic crack skulls kind of types. And that about 15% were folks who joined the police department because they said, I want to see a change in the world, okay? That's 30%. They said the 70% were people who were like, my dad was in it, I'm in it, it's an opportunity, it's a job. Whatever. There wasn't like something in there. But they said the problem is that about 70% of people will kind of would go along with either the racist cop or the cop that wants to do the right thing. In that situation, they're just by nature, most of us are followers, right? So the problem is you got that 70%. Depending on who they're paired up with,
You don't know which way they're going to go.
is who that cop's going to be that
Tipping
particular
point.
day.
I want to come back to this because I want to see how many more times he shoots her. And like I said, it's not Meemaw's house, so you're going to have to hang on. Ronnie, I know you've been on for 30 minutes. I'll go to you quickly when we come out of the break. Tommy Sherman, hang on. Back, and we will get out of this. There's not a lot of other news. That's why I went to Chewy Land when we first started, but we will try to get other things. And those of you watching on camera, we'll see you tomorrow. And I should say good evening because you're watching this on the website. So good evening. And Matt, you've got Airco. Austin.